This is a Mazda RX-7 that has been abandoned for many years. Over the next 10 days, we're going to transform this car into a drift practice machine powered by a 1JZ engine. Some of you may be wondering, why swap a 1JZ instead of using the original rotary engine? Compared to the rotary, the 1JZ offers longer engine life and much better torque. As you can see, we've temporarily fitted a 1JZ into the bay. The goal is to mock up the placement of the fuel lines, coolant hoses, and intercooler piping around the engine. That way, once the rebuilt 1JZ is ready, we can drop it directly back in. Let's get started. Since time is tight, we're planning to fabricate the coolant lines from the engine to the radiator using some leftover materials we already have. This will ensure that the coolant can circulate smoothly through the system. The steering rack used to be mounted up here, but now everything is extremely tight in this area. So we relocated the steering rack further down. The new oil pan is much bigger, and it simply wouldn't fit in the original position. So we fabricated a new mounting bracket for it. Now we're getting ready to find a suitable position for the hydraulic handbrake. First, we'll put the dashboard back in, then install the steering wheel and seat. Once everything is in place, we'll know the ideal location for the handbrake lever. Let's test the position. Right here feels pretty comfortable. Now that the routing for most of the lines and hoses is confirmed, we're officially starting the teardown process. The mock-up engine we used for measurement has now been lifted out. And you can see the RX-7 engine bay completely stripped and bare. Next, we'll start disassembling the engine. The mounting bracket for the hydraulic handbrake base is now completed and fully smoothed out. All interior components have been removed, and the car is now ready for paint. Before painting, we need to sand the entire roll cage to ensure much better paint adhesion. Everything is now sanded, and we're ready to roll the car into the paint booth. Time to start reinstalling the interior. We've removed the ABS system and are currently reworking the brake lines. Now we're taking out the factory fuel pump and replacing it with a high-performance upgraded fuel pump. The purpose of upgrading the fuel pump is to increase the fuel delivery rate per minute. Now we've pulled out the engine block and we're getting ready to clean it. Next, we'll remove the rust from the engine and spray the exterior of the block with black paint. Now we're ready to start assembling the engine. The 1JZ engine assembly is now complete and ready to go back into the engine bay. There's still a good amount of space left in the bay, and the front to rear engine layout looks really solid. Now we're getting ready to install the transmission. Next, we'll start cleaning up and organizing the wiring harness.